Yeah.
And what I think also, mate, is really important to ask you, have you got any little practices around mindset to guide you through that? Like meditation at that time or breath work?
Well, I have a pretty devoted practice to 2 times a day meditation.
Okay.
So I get to sort of, the beauty about that and past experiences of going through rehabilitation, from stopping what I love doing and having to go through long periods, is that placing myself even in the good times, what's supposed to be the good times or the bad times, is putting myself into the practice, and then I can understand myself better in those zones, so I'm not so reactive towards myself. I can feel it. Go into the feeling of what it is. Mindfulness is very, very powerful for that. Transcendental style of meditation, using a mantra to sort of go beyond, is very, very powerful, because we get that dip in those 2 dips in the day when we practice, where we actually get to see ourselves, see the thinking for what it is. We actually sort of sit back on that. And so that sort of stuff really holds us steady through those times.
Sure.
And actually, okay, well, I'm going through this now.
Sure.
I'm experiencing this now. It's not me.
Yeah.
The trick is, it's just this experience. I'm not saying it's easy.
No, okay.
Because we always want the easy route.
Even with years of meditation, it's still challenging.
Right? We need to move through that. And everyone's different. So,
and mate, what times a day do you meditate?
As soon as I get up in the morning, I generally meditate fairly swiftly as soon as I get up.
Right.
Wash myself off and I might do some body movement, depending on how I am. But generally just sit to practice at that sunrise time.
Okay.
And then I'll do some other body movement work, depending on how I am. And if I'm in this situation, I'll just be sitting, and then I might even write, journal a little bit, just to get out whatever's in on papers, which is a really good way of seeing what's coming out. Geez, and it could be anything.
Right.
So that's a
great tip.
Strong practice. And then one I'll do one this afternoon. So in the afternoon, around about between 2 and 4 p.m. Is a good time to practice again. There's a sort of a dip in your energy generally. Normally, that's where we'd reach for the caffeinated drink.
Sure, exactly.
Something to sort of lift us.
Yeah.
But if we put a 20-minute practice in there, you'll naturally rise, your natural energy levels will return, and actually you'll be able to achieve a lot more down through the rest of the afternoon.
Sure.
Not that not about achievement, but it's about sort of being able to engage in life and really do what you need to do, move towards what you love doing in a much more clear way.
Sure.
But it's those 2 practices early in the morning, and then sort of around mid-afternoon. If you can't get one in the afternoon, just do it before dinner.
Right.
But I don't generally advise to go before bed, or just at bedtime, even though it's okay. And like I said before, we're all different.
Mm-hmm.
But to do a practice prior to going to bed, you may disrupt that first part when you go to sleep. The
first sleep phase, right?
That first sleep phase where we really want to fall off the cliff and just dive and allow ourselves to fall right into that deep sleep. And so we start to get the nice rhythms through those 90-minute rhythms. And so if we meditate before that, we might sort of hang around on the surface.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And might take a while before we dip.
Right.
Yeah.
Mate, you mentioned 20 minutes. Is that like the minimum amount of time someone would practice? That's the transcendental, right?
That's the transcendental style, the Vedic, if you like, style of meditation. It's using a mantra. 20 minutes has been shown through studies,
right,
research, very sound peer-reviewed studies in the meditation to be most beneficial for our life, particularly. We've got a busy life. We're not really hanging out in a cave, in a mountain, and well, some people might want to give themselves to that, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That might be quite a different experience, but we're out here living life. We've got things we love to do. We're social animals, and we like to live a charmed life, and we get out there and do these things that we love doing, like surfing and stuff. We've got to sort of make a living too. We've got to pay a mortgage maybe. We've got friends and family, and we've got kids maybe. All these factors in very busy life.
Sure.
And we can, and so, but 20 minutes twice a day, experience of ourselves, giving ourselves that deeper sense of us, of who we truly are beyond thought, which is a very powerful experience for us. We can do it all kinds of different ways by that. By
Yeah,
the way.
okay.
Try to go beyond thought. We try to do all kinds of funny ways, don't we?
That's
as
a
humans?
great tip.
But actually, in the most beneficial way, where we're not influencing ourselves exogenously with anything, we're actually doing it on our own.
Yeah.
And it's best to be instructed into this. I wouldn't want to be someone trying to do it on their own, because
Right.
it's like we'll probably only last a little bit,
Yeah.
and we probably find that it's quite a lot for us to sort of come straight out of our busy life and sit down and close our
Yeah,
eyes.
really good advice, that.
Yeah, it's very tricky on the nervous system.
Sure.
And we'll probably open our eyes up and go, well, that doesn't work. I'm out, and we'll do that.
Yeah. And mate, for anyone who's never done this and can't relate fully to what you're talking about, even though it's really well described, how is the effect doing that practice before a surf? Does that change your experience while you're surfing, or you're in the ocean, for example?
Absolutely. Even a 5-minute practice prior to going out, connecting with yourself at a deeper level, and just being with yourself and coming into the body in a mindfulness practice is very good for you for this moment prior to surfing. Mindfully coming back into the breath and allowing the breath to do its thing, and being observant of that, and coming into the body and being literally embodied.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we're like that, we're more grounded. And, it's some sort of asana work on the sand too, some sort of body kind of movement where we're really becoming mindful of how we're breathing and movement with the body also is very, very powerful. Also warming up the body that way. And then stillness with a really brief practice prior to going out. Then you're really in there. That's when you're going to actually optimize your experience when you're paddling out.
Sure.
Even paddling out will be different. You'll make clearer decisions on how to even move with water.
Really? Okay.
So you're 70% water anyway. You'll go in with the water. You'll move in with the water better. I'd say better. It's kind of like a loose word to say that, but you'll have an experience of yourself a lot richer.
Sure.
Experience
Great.
of paddling out even. So
And I love that. I love that angle just there, because there's so many of us that we love surfing, and if we've done it since we were kids and it's just part of our practice, we can often forget that there's other things that augment that experience.
Absolutely. And what better way to augment the experience actually through this way?
For sure.
Which is not, it's like, it's the mind everything starts with a thought, right?
Incredible, yeah.
And so when the thinking is right, you can actually feel the water in a fresh way. Even if it's subtle, we'll feel where to move better.
No, totally.
We'll feel our way into the wave better. And I'll say better, that's a kind of
more effective,
not a great way of it's too easy, but it's like it's take that lightly, but it will be like I said, more enriched experience.
Mate, over the years, I've worked with surfing, professional surfing 20 years and surfers for 30 years, and I've observed and listened to a lot of surfers after being injured saying, look, I was in a bad headspace, I had a fight with my wife or girlfriend or boyfriend or husband, or something at work went down. I'd imagine something like this beforehand could be a little safeguard to get the person or the surfer back into harmony, so that might be minimise the chance of an injury during surfing. Could you relate to that? Or would that be accurate?
Well, the practice, what we're doing with the practice like this, where we're coming to stillness, we're just recalibrating coherence.
Sure.
So becoming more coherent naturally at every level. So we're naturally bringing more coherent thought processes will come out of that coherence. Yes. So, and we can't kind of think our way to it either. We can't really think our way to more coherence, because you can sort of like create more chaos just through that.
More noise, yeah.
So at a very subtle level, it might be quite bold, but we will gain a richer experience through becoming more coherent and be able to see what's going on.
Yes,
your peripheral vision's better. You'll just be more relaxed. You'll actually be able to power into situations with more awareness about where to power, where to turn the power down, and how to how the board's feeling. You might have a fin loose. Oh God, your feet pick up, the fin's loose. You go, oh gosh, I have to go and get a thing and tighten that fin up. That's just something, I just thought about then, but that you do start to feel and pick up much more, subtle differences in the environment just through a simple practice of stilling the mind. Like you said, you come in with less coherence, more chaos, and watch what happens. Mm-hmm. Oh shit! I picked the wrong wave, went onto the sandbar, slammed on the sandbar, got the board up the arse.
That's never happened to you, has it?
No. I've done it. So it's like, you run out with too much froth on board.
Yeah.
And that's a chaotic kind of state of mind.
And also, I notice a lot of us are wanting that surf, but already thinking about what we've got to do on the other side of it. We're not present, are we? It's just, when you listen to these stories over the years, there's an obvious pattern.